What's going on? Living Well Small Groups. Again, this is Dennis
Angela.
and we are back. We are back, and we're going to be talking about chapter 8. Hopefully, you guys have gotten this book. You have dived into it. Today, we're going to be talking about chapter 8. Again, it's talking about fighting the big five. And today, we're going to be talking about
sex.
Oh, yeah.
Sex.
So here the book really kind of introduces talking about sex is everywhere. And I want to go ahead and let you guys know if this is a subject that's sensitive, that might be for a small group. Let me just tell you, this is the time to really kind of have some discussion. Now, if you're very, very sensitive, then just sit back and listen to everybody else as they be transparent and talk about it. But we're going to kind of share some of our stories and everything like that. But sex is everywhere. I mean,
it really
it's
is.
literally
it's in commercials, it's in advertising.
Yeah, it's in everything. Literally everything. The
Everything.
shows that we watch, they're talking
Social
about
media.
sex, social media.
Yeah.
It's literally
TV, movies,
everywhere. And
conversation, songs,
everything.
everywhere.
Everywhere. And the funny thing is, here the book talks about that the sexual saturation of a world leads many couples to think that something is wrong with their sex life. And I think sometimes you watch those Hallmark shows.
I do like my Hallmark. Okay.
Should be watching it. And it's all about
I do.
relationships and how the
But I
man
do
meets the
get
woman.
it that it's not the real world though, but go ahead.
Yeah. But it's causing sometimes when we're looking on the outside and then we're looking at on the inside, this battle that we have is that something's wrong with our sex. It's like,
right, because it doesn't match up to TV or social media or whatever. So it's like, they getting it on like it ain't nobody's business, or they doing all these crazy stuff, or they're doing this or doing that.
And then you come home and look at your bedroom and it's like cricket, 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 cricket. Nobody's doing nothing. Or what we dealt with, early in our marriage is that our sex drives are totally different. I wanted 8 days a week.
And I was like, one's great.
And so, of course, we had some conflict. And I liked what the book said. The book says marriage means expectations and expectation means conflict.
Yes. So with all this saturation, according to almost every study on this topic, the top tier of issues causing couples drama, conflict, bad fights, or hopefully good fights is sex. And so it says, why? Because the culture impedes us with the expectation that if we are like normal couples, what we see on TV, what we see in movies, we think that's normal for some reason. If we are like that, then we'll be having bed shaking, just crazy, bombalistic, out the door, toes curling.
Toes
sex.
curling. Okay.
All the time. Okay. That's Angie adding stuff to the book. But it says frequency is relatively easy issue to resolve and well worth the issue. Research shows that couples usually fall into 3 different categories. 1/3 of couples is having sex about once or twice a week or more. Others, okay, yes, pretty good. Others a few times a month.
Uh-oh.
And then there's another third part of couples, which unfortunately only have sex maybe a couple of times a year or not at all. And so we want to help you guys.
We need counseling.
We want to help you guys. That's not you. If it is you, it's okay. Everyone has issues and everybody has problems. And this is something that we can definitely resolve.
So the book goes into how do we minimize your sex fights? And so they said recommend focusing on solving coordination failures. So the number one reason why people report not having sex in their marriage is I'm too tired.
I was guilty of that one. Too tired. I'm not in the mood.
And that's understandable. I mean, we got
women.
busy.
We do a lot too.
Well,
I'm saying we do a lot. Y'all do a lot too.
Yeah. We do a lot. But that could be an issue because people have very busy schedule, working a lot. You're trying to make things happen. Some of us are entrepreneurs, busy, whatever it is, sometimes you can be too tired.
Yeah, and the world we live in is go, 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 go. That, the US, of A is like you got to get it done. So we're all doing a lot of stuff. We all have a lot of stuff that we're doing, things that we're trying to balance, whether it's going to work, taking care of kids, doing groups, doing all kind of things. We all have a lot on our schedule.
Or sometimes we're just not in the
We ain't
mood.
feeling it.
And for us fellas, sometimes it could be
I don't
after.
think y'all have a mood. Do y'all
Yeah,
have a not?
we
I'm
do
not in the
have
mood.
we do have a mood, and it's all the time
Because I feel
for
like
some of
if
us. So for
as
some of us,
women, if
I'm
we
playing,
just
but
drop it naked, it's like, oh, I wasn't in the mood, but I'm in the mood now.
right,
But
right.
I'm like, I don't know. Do y'all have that?
I think whenever you're in the mood, we're in the mood. I think we're in the mood well, I can't speak for all the fellas, but I can know when, especially early in our marriage, it didn't take too much for me. It could be a look, it could be whatever. I'm just ready. It could be, we could have a little small intense fellowship or argument, and I'm still ready to do something. But we
And that
understand.
wasn't my testimony.
No.
We had to work through that. I remember Pastor Deborah at our old church in Detroit, she would say that when her husband, Bishop Butler, wanted to have sex, she would be like, I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. I've been working all day. I've been dealing with these kids. And then, of course, he waits till end of night. She about to go to bed. She looking forward to sleep. And she would say she would have to encourage herself. So go into the bathroom, get cleaned up, put something sexy on, but talk to herself about how blessed she is to have her husband and how good of a man he is, etc. And that honestly helped me. I think as women, we have to come up with what will help us. So to me, it was like making adjustments, asking him to help me around the house, giving kids chores, taking stuff off my plate, and then thinking too for him, he would tell me that it made him feel rejected, or it was one of the things that helped him just feel as a great man. And I was like, I want my husband to feel as a great person, because he is. And just other things like that in conversation, when we would talk about it, it would give me a different perspective on it. And so it helped me to make the adjustments internally as well.
And frequency sometimes, it's a part of connection. We connect that way.
Yeah.
It keeps us connected to and involved in thinking about certain things, and it protects the marriage a lot of times. So when we talk about frequency, that's sometimes where we just need to coordinate,
Right.
and talk about it. And
So talk about it. Like, okay, so you want it twice a week, I want it once a week, or you want it 8 times a week. I only want it one time a week. So like, let's have a conversation about it. What works for me? What works for you? How can we come to a combination of things? And I think you have to get over feeling kind of weird about it. I know when we first got married, it was like a prudish conversation to me. I was like, whoa, like I ain't trying to talk about that right now. It was very uncomfortable for me. I didn't want to talk about it, but I knew it was important in our marriage because we were fighting about it. And it was an issue in our marriage when we first got saved. Not saved, first got married. But it's something that we had to just say, you know what, let's sit down, let's have these conversations, figure it out. What's the frequency look like? What's the issues? Why don't I want to, or any of that? We just had to have a good conversation about it.
And you also got to get over the misconception that your spouse doesn't want to have sex as much as you do. It's everybody kind of deals with different types of things in their marriage, and you also got to ask yourself the why. Asking the question why you don't want it sometimes as much as is there some issues, is there some problems, that's discussing it. For us, sometimes it was going back to dealing with some sensitive areas, maybe how our past was, why do I want it that much, or why I don't want it that much.
Right.
It goes back to sometimes for us is dealing some things with our past.
Yeah, and for me, and I might have shared this, some of you people have already heard it, but for me, I have had some abuse in my past. And so for me, like when we were in counseling, we were talking about sex, and I was like, I'm fine, I'll be good, no problem. And then when we got into actually living together and having sex and stuff, and the frequency he wanted and stuff, I had issues, and I had to see and look at myself like, why am I having all these issues? And it really came back to my past. And dealing with that. And so I had to really heal so that I could be a healthy wife and spouse for him. And he was patient with me. We talked it out. He prayed for me, different things like that. And now we're good, right?
Yeah. I mean, they say marriage is love is blind, but marriage is an eye opener, and you see some things that open up your eyes. And what was really good is that I learned how to communicate to you.
We
But
both learned how to communicate. Sex, I mean, like I said earlier, it's a little uncomfortable, right? But it can be one of those, you put it out on the table, can be a good conversation.
so we've been talking about the word core throughout the chapters of the book, and the C talks about cooperation. And that's one of the things you want to talk about is how can we conversely talk about some critical things to make sure that we're aligning so-called our libidos with each other, and so we can minimize the conflict.
And I think one of the other good things that the book said, one of the best ways is, number one, if you feel like they don't want to have sex, if that's what you choose to believe, basically you're going to get the fruit. If that's what you want, that's what you're going to find. The other thing that I thought was good that it said one of the best ways to equalize scales of sexual desire is to put an end to snide comments. So if your partner ain't giving it up like you want it and you throwing little darts at them, that's not helping.
That's passive aggressive, and you need to talk.
And so chill out with the comments, the negativity or anything, saying stuff under your breath or whatever. And let's just put everything on the table, and let's kind of, if we need to put some rules into place on how we're going to have a conversation, but let's have a healthy, kind, nice conversation about sex, and let's stop with the comments.
So it asks questions in the book like, when do you feel most frisky?
Frisky.
Who uses frisky?
Somebody uses frisky.
Okay.
Somebody uses frisky. But it says conversation is critical to and very important to aligning your libidos. Yes. And minimizing your conflict. So when are you most frisky, or basically when are you the most horny? When do you want horny? When do you want to talk about it? When do you want to think about it? When do you want to do it? Those kind of questions. What's the best time of day? Angie's not a morning person. We had some major issues when this brother would try to wake me up in the morning for some stuff because I'm out of it in the morning. I need coffee. I need a shower. No. That's not the best time of the day. I thought she was just being extra. Like, gosh, just come on. I can't even.
We're married now.
Not a good time of the day for me. But we had to talk about that. Afternoon, evenings, they all work. Mornings, no.
It asked the question, best time of the month, but I was like, gosh.
I'm like, best time of the month, anytime you're not on your period, right?
Amen.
I mean, it's just real talk. But I do think for some people, best time of the month may be, do you have health issues? Do you have
a busy schedule?
Right. Do you have, are you
lots of meetings?
Maybe you're going to be out of town. Maybe you travel a lot for your job, or maybe maybe you have heavier stuff in the first of the month, or maybe you do accounting for your job and the end of the month is for real and it's pressure and it's stressful and it's just not a good time. Those are the kind of conversations you want to have.
Some other questions to ask: what are your desires? What most incline you to have sex? More fun, easier. Again, how do you both initiate sex?
Right. And it's something like a certain position, maybe it's not as comfortable as another position. Maybe you want to try certain stuff. But I will say this, we've heard this before, that maybe one spouse wants to do something that the other spouse does not agree with. If your partner doesn't agree with it, please don't shame them about it, but have a conversation and maybe y'all can find another something, whether it's a toy or whatever, that you agree on that you both don't feel uncomfortable with.
But again, let me go back to the question. How do we initiate sex? So fellas, can I get some love on this one? All my small group leaders, all my fellas in the small groups.
You gonna have
sometimes
barking or something like that?
No, well, you can bark or whatever. Well, no, let's don't do that. My point is, ladies, sometimes we want you to come and say, we want sex. We did
have this issue because to me, he's the dude and he's the one who wants it all the time. I'm just being honest. That was my mindset. So I was like, so when you want it, you should come and initiate it. He had an issue with that because he was like, I'm doing all the hard work all the time. So basically, we had a conversation about it. I initiate. I'm doing good, right?
Yeah.
I initiate way more than I used to.
Well, again, we're talking about some things that happened in the past. Now, we did a lot of conversations. We have talked about it. We've had those hard discussions and everything like that. But I can remember back in the day, it was tough. It was really tough because
we had some bad fights over this topic.
I literally felt rejected, and there was sometimes my mind will wander. I was like, what's wrong with me?
And on my side,
why you don't like me or something?
Yeah,
and I was saying all that type of.
Yeah, and on my side, I felt like it was selfish. Like, just being honest, like I've been working all day. I've been at home with the kids, or I've been cooking and cleaning. I've been doing all this stuff, and you haven't talked about it all day. I'm about to go to sleep. Like, I'm excited to go to sleep because I'm dead tired. And now you like, let's do something. And I would just be like, really, dude? Just honest. I'll be like, really? And I would be upset about it. And then I would go ahead and do it because I'm like, and that's, of course, that's not what he wants. He definitely wants me to enjoy myself as much as him. So we've had to have a lot of deep conversations, fights, arguments, discussions, so that we can get on the same page in this area. And please, if you're anything like that kind of testimony, please have the conversations and please work it out where you can get on the same page. Now we got code words and stuff. We got all kind of stuff happening, and we're in a good place.
So if you hear, you know it's on, brother. It's on. I'm just playing. I don't do that. But we do that code word.
We do have a code word. We do.
I'm not gonna share it with y'all, but
we ain't gonna share it with you. But of course, it's got some emojis and all kind of stuff, so we can either be talking in front of people and just have a full conversation about don't nobody know what we're talking about, or we can be texting each other and don't nobody know what we're talking about. So it's great, and it's helped too to take the pressure off of initiating, because we can just send an emoji or he can send an emoji to me, and we just both like, okay. And to me, it helps as a woman to be prepared to know, okay, so today's the day. And so maybe I'll take some stuff off my plate, or maybe I will have more of, creating certain space in my head, like to get myself prepared. The one thing I want to say too, fellas, for us as women, if we had a fight with you, or you're fighting with us, or we just had a fight, it's really hard for us to get out of our head and get into, I don't know, feeling frisky.
She's basically saying, I'm not horny anymore.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm side-eyeing you. I don't even want to talk to you, let alone you touch me. So think about that. Always keep that in mind. That is really hard for us as women, to just argue, fight, and then, now, unless you made up, now we have makeup sex, that's different. But to me, it's I want to have a conversation and talk it out, and we cool, it's no issues, we good, and then I can be in the right mindset.
And let's not assume everybody's the same. So as we get ready to wrap this up, the last point that we want to talk about is love making and empathy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so most of the time it's the wife who needs to warm up. I've heard this phrase before. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of it, that men are microwaves and women are crock pots. Have you ever heard that?
Yes, I've heard that.
All right.
Okay.
So if you want your wife to be more forthcoming with her sexual desires, you got to do your part in helping her in the love-making process.
And that may be putting the kids to sleep. That might be washing the dishes. That might be, baby, what do you need from me? But also, we wanted to say it might be the husband who likes to have a little bit more foreplay, a little bit more of warming it up. And it may be the wife who's like, I don't need all that. Let's get it, let's do this. So having empathy, putting yourself in your partner's shoes and think about how they feel goes a long way, whether it's the husband or it's the wife.
Now, I've heard Jimmy Evans says the best marriage is when two servants in love. And so again, it's serving one another. And again, finding out what each other needs in order to make this happen. So again, we all also heard this a long time ago, is that the love making starts way at the very beginning of the day.
Real.
How text messages, getting her or getting him prepared for this, wonderful night that we're going to have, in that particular situation. So
So last little point, a little empathy, the E in core, can go a long way towards getting you to slow it down a little bit and set the stage for passionate sex that can make her or him feel great. So,
Oh, yeah.
so basically, we're going to send you off to have some great questions with your small group, but hopefully we got you fired up for later on after the small group is over.
Watch out now.
All right. So have them good questions. We hope you guys have very open conversation and that you have a good time in your small group. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Peace.